Welcome to the Cory Lee Show, where our focus is on building leaders and transforming culture. My name is Cory Lee, and in each episode, I aspire to ignite something on the inside of you that encourages you to grow yourself and to make an impact on the world around you. Welcome to the Cory Lee Show. Welcome back to the Cory Lee Show, guys. I'm telling you, you better get ready for today's episode. It's going to be so good. Actually, our guest today, his name is Adam Johnson. Had him on. He came on and we had a conversation, me, him, and Logan Ayers. I guess it was about 2020. Was that what it was, Adam?
Yes,
yeah.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Yeah, back in 2020. And so this podcast was on here, had an awesome conversation. And so Adam, I'll tell you guys this, and I'll let him do some introducing of himself, but he's somebody I went to school with, went to high school with. We played football together. And, there's just some people that you connect with. And I'll tell you just, we didn't get to hang out a whole lot, but I tell you, he was someone that I always respected. He's someone that I had a high level of respect for. And then as he moved off, he had a career in the military, special forces, and I kind of keep up with him from a distance as he's in Tennessee and just love what he's doing. And man, I just, so excited to see all of his success and, just somebody you root for. And so Adam, I don't know if I've ever told you that, but man, you're someone I have ultimate respect for, truly honor you, and just appreciate you coming on. And so tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and what's going on in your world right now.
My name is Adam Johnson, and now I have goosebumps, Cory. That was one solid intro, my man. So Cory, we haven't spoken in about 4 years. I'm 40 years old now. Never thought we'd be there. As Cory said, went to high school together. When I left, finished high school, went to the military, served for 15 and a half years. Had a fantastic, fun career, done a lot of cool things, walked through a lot of doors I never thought would be open for me. My wife and I began a business, and we retired ourselves from the military at 15 and a half years, 5 years into business. If you know anything about the military, you know that 20 years is retirement. So me being only 4.5 years away from retirement, people thought I was crazy for getting out of the military and foregoing a lifetime of retirement. We knew that in our hearts, we had a different vision than relying on the military and retirement. At that time, our business was growing. We made the decision to exit the military, forego retirement, and focus on us and grow us, our business, and our brand. And we never doubted it. We never looked back. We had some very tough days. But we are exactly where we should be, and we're happy with where we are, and we're actually posturing ourselves after 10 years of business to be able to sell our business. So it's come full circle. I never thought I'd be here, and Cory, I never thought you and I'd be having this conversation on doing this on Zoom. That wasn't a thing 20 years ago.
I know, man. I know. I messed up. We were talking before we pressed record. You were saying something really powerful right there. I was like, oh man, we hadn't even recorded yet. And you said, could you imagine, 20 years ago, whatever it was, in high school, having financial freedom conversations? I don't know. What do you think?
Cory, me being 1 year ahead of you, we knew each other. We did play sports a lot, but we didn't exactly walk in the same circles, being that year gap and other factors, and this and that. So what I always loved about you and appreciate is how freaking hard you worked. You and I are both undersized. You a little bit more than me. We weren't the biggest guys on the football field, but I always appreciated your work ethic. That being said, I still would have not thought you and I, coming from Baldwin, Mississippi, would have ever had the two words financial freedom put together. That wasn't part of our culture. That wasn't what we're taught. And to this day, when I go back home, that's still not part of the culture. So I've been very fortunate of finding myself in the right position and trying to take advantage of that position. I was fortunate to hear a commercial about a free seminar down in Nashville, Tennessee about real estate. That was 10 years ago. I went down there, I took the bait, jumped in head first, and now we're selling a rental real estate business. So would have never thunk it. That's what they say.
Yeah, let's go. And when you said that earlier, it reminded me, I can remember I was at church one day, and this dude comes up to me and he says, hey, I was a senior in high school. He said, I don't know what you want to do in college, but I hear X-ray technology. You go to X-ray Tech. It's a 2-year program, and they start out in $40,000 a year. I was like, what? Somebody would pay me $40,000. And I was like, sign me up. Like, I thought I was gonna be rich,
Yes.
man. I was making $7 an hour, you know.
Yes.
And so like 100%. That's amazing.
Boy, let me tell you about that $7 and about that 40,000 you just mentioned. I've learned through my travels around the world and talking to people and being introduced to different walks of life that you have to get out of small town America to see stuff and have different perspective. If you are around people that look like you, talk like you, and do exactly what you do, you'll never have any exchange of ideas. So
Yeah.
that was off the deep end right there, but
No.
we weren't exposed to that in Baldwin, Mississippi. I got my life lessons when I left. I
Yeah.
learned so much more once I got out there on my own, and especially being in the military, meeting people from around the globe. So yeah, man, this wasn't it wasn't on my path. It definitely was not on my path as a youngster.
Yeah, totally agree. You know my wife Kim, so we all went to school
Yeah,
together. So
yeah.
Kim, when we got married, we moved off, and we've talked so many times like that. That was probably one of the best things that ever happened to us was to move off because, I mean, we got out of our comfort zone. I remember we were living in Florence, and we had this opportunity to either go to St. Augustine, Florida, or Jackson, Mississippi. And we were thinking about going to Jackson, Mississippi. That's where we ended up going. But I remember the conversation of the people we were talking with. Said, no, no, you don't go down Jackson now. You get shot down there, right? But man, I'm telling you, I've developed some of the greatest friendships from there, and just had an awesome, awesome time. And so learned, like you said, just getting out of the little box, and it grows. So
It's important, and if you've never left small town, you can't grasp what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to you. But just trust me. Just trust me.
just
Leave for four,
man,
5, 6 months. Like go a place you probably would never considered. Maybe that's a little extreme, but go somewhere a little uncomfortable and watch how much you learn about yourself. A
yeah.
little bit of discomfort goes a long way.
Man, I love that. I mean,
Yeah,
see, for anybody who does any exercise, you know that to be true, right? Like you've got to put the muscles
absolutely.
under stress, but I don't think we like to carry that over into our walk with life either. So,
I have a lot on that, man. A lot on that. So one of my favorite Stoic philosophers is Epicurus. He says that we treat the body rigid so that it does not disobey the mind,
mm,
meaning the mind is in control of the body. So we're so comfortable, especially in 21st century America. We have everything that we live better than kings and queens lived up until about 1900. Like we have everything. My bed is so comfortable. Kings didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? I have a TV. So there's a YouTube channel I like, and their hashtag or whatever you want to call it, it's called Seek Discomfort, and that's the theme is getting a little bit out of your comfort zone. Again, you learn about yourself. With exercise, you and I both know if you always bench press 50 pounds 10 times, that's all you do every time, you will never get stronger. Your body will adapt to that, and that's where you're going to be. But it's that little bit of discomfort where you thought you couldn't get that 11th rep or that extra 10 pounds. That's where the growth begins and gives you that little fire to keep growing. But if you've always done what you've done, you're going to get no better. You
yeah,
can say that in many different ways, but yes, when I was in recruiting school back in 2014 to be an Army recruiter, a civilian kind of said this one line very nonchalantly, and it stuck with me. She said, "There's no growth in your comfort zone."
mm,
I have held that, and I take that every time I do a public speaking engagement. That line is thrown out
yeah,
just for kind of a little context. This is uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar to you. Buying houses or whatever something new to you is, it's a little bit uncomfortable. But there's no growth in your comfort zone. I've held that true and dear to my heart.
yeah. Totally agree with that. Totally agree. I'd be curious to hear what are you doing to stretch yourself right now? Where's that growth coming right now?
So me personally, I've immersed myself into kettlebell training
Yeah,
and providing trying to grow a YouTube channel, trying to help people get into fitness. As I said, I'm 40 years old now, and I truly, truly believe that longevity starts now. Not when we're 65, not when we're 73. That's not what the time to start trying to have denser bones and stronger, you know, grip, being able to squat and that kind of stuff because we're all getting older. It's not going to happen, Corey. You and I will be 83 years old one day.
man, I
I'm
feel
trying to be in a
21,
healthy
brother. I
80.
feel good.
I feel better than I've ever felt. So that's what it's about for me is being healthy, trying to share that same health positivity and awareness as well. And if I can help one person start a little exercise routine, then that's a victory. That is a huge win. That's what I'm doing now.
Man, I like that. That's really good. I've, and I love how it doesn't even have to. I think sometimes people get so afraid because it feels like it's got to be a big thing, right? It can be a big thing, but it doesn't have to be. One of the things that I'm trying to do to stretch myself is like you, I speak. Well, I don't necessarily love getting behind the camera and doing like a 60-second video. I don't love that.
Agreed.
But I feel like for me, and you know this as a speaker, like if somebody were to bring you in to speak for 60 minutes, right? You can add some stories and all that, but if they say, "Hey, I want you to take that 60-minute speech, I want you to put it down into 60 seconds."
Mm.
You got to distill it down to your most powerful point. And so for me, kind of what I'm trying to do to stretch myself is really distill down messages into like boom, 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 short, powerful, simple stuff. And that's a stretch, for me. So yeah.
Another thing that's helped me, and kind of along the lines of what you're talking about of growing, is, I have a very small following on YouTube. I'm not a large content creator whatsoever. So I think I have maybe 370, 60 something, people. And if you think about, that's not a lot of followers. But if I had 360 people in my front yard that were following me to care that much, and that's how I approach it, is if these individuals are following along with the exercise with me and I'm talking directly to them. So that shift has helped me provide better content and be a little more comfortable because it's more than me just being behind the camera. Now I'm talking to 360 people trying to get this message across.
That's good.
It's
Hey,
helped me a
so
lot.
AJ,
Call
Adam.
me AJ. I'm still AJ. I still have it. I still can make a
Okay, all
layup,
right. We still go call him AJ.
That's
AJ, what's your YouTube channel? We'll make sure to put that in the show notes.
military to millionaire mindset.
Oh, I like it.
Military, the number two, millionaire mindset.
All right, we'll put that in the show notes. Hey, let's get that man some more subscribers, y'all. Hook that man
Hey,
up.
hey, every bit helps, and I
There you
appreciate it
go.
all.
Hey, I want to go back to something you were saying in your story, right? Like, so you were telling you and your wife are in the military, right? Both of you?
No, no, my current wife, no, she's not in the
Okay,
military. She
gotcha.
she started with me 10 years ago when we started our business.
Gotcha. You were in the military and you lacked 4.5 years left to lock in, to
Yes,
lock in.
sir.
But you knew that wasn't your thing. You knew you were supposed to be doing something else. Man, I would love to go through your thought process right there because there's a lot of people that I talk to who are they want to be entrepreneurs and they're at that line and they know
Yep.
their next step is to step across that line, but there's uncertainty and fear. And so I'd love for you to just speak into that a little bit.
Let me give it to you really simple. The more security you have, the less freedom you have. So yes,
Woo.
that Army job is very, very, very secure, but I was locked down and I was on call 24/7. And had I went past 20 years, so also that's 20 years of being secure, and I have a lifetime of that paycheck, which is still fine as well. One of the problems that we had, and if you're, as far as we talked about financial freedom, one of the problems that we had with military retirement was, let's say that I make $6,000 a month right now as active duty, and I would retire maybe with $5,500 a month, not quite what I was making on active, but still that's fantastic money forever. The problem is that when you retire, if you're making the same amount of money, you don't have a money surplus. You still don't have that extra money to go do that traveling, to go do those events, to go see those people. We knew that we wanted to enjoy our life, and that money is fine to work on that 5,000. Having your bills paid is absolutely fantastic, but we knew we wanted more, and it was going to take a different type of lifestyle or resources to be able to allow us to have that lifestyle. So yes, Coral, we could have been very secure and had a lot less freedom, but we took that risk and we never looked back. In America, we're so concerned about security when it comes to bills. We're so concerned. If you ever been to Europe or talk to Europeans, they have no problem leaving for 6 weeks and just they'll figure it out when they get back. We've been around the world, and I've seen Europe. We were in Peru in the Amazon rainforest, and there were in our little 10-person group, a lot of Europeans. Like they have no problem exploring life in a different perspective, as opposed to you and I Americans. We have to pay our bills, which I'm not saying don't negate your bills, but money is not everything. As you and I talked about earlier, money is a tool for me to be able to have this freedom to go enjoy ourselves, and that's what it's about for us.
Man,
Yeah.
man, I love that. So you said, man, what'd you say? The more
Security,
security.
the more security, less freedom you have. And that's not rocket science.
Yeah.
It's dangerous over here in the entrepreneurial world. It's not guaranteed. Like next week is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed my tenants are going to pay. I'm okay with that. I like living the way we live, and I sleep really good at night. We're okay. We're comfortable.
Man.
I
Yeah.
love it.
That's so good. And I was talking to a friend of mine one time, and I'm with you. I love the entrepreneur lifestyle, right? I love that. I love the freedom that comes with it, but it sure ain't easy. It ain't
No,
easy.
no,
And
sir.
but I love it. So I talk about it a lot. And I was talking to a friend. He jumped into it, and he told me this was a growing opportunity for me. He's like, man, this just ain't for me. This is just
Mm,
not for me. And you know, before that, I was like, well, this everybody should do this. And you know, like I guess it's not for everybody, but I tell you, I'm all in on it. But boy, I've had some pretty embarrassing losses too. And but the highs are high, man. Yeah.
true. And not to sound cliche, but you don't make every shot. And if you and you and I played a little basketball, like very low level middle school, but we were pretty decent at low level middle school basketball. And you and I both know most NBA players miss more shots than they make.
Yeah.
If you and I approach business like that, we wouldn't buy anything.
Mm.
If you approach business and life like that, if there's a more than 50% chance of failure, you're probably not going to take that shot. So that's how I look at it now. I'm going to miss more than I make, but I just need a few good makes. I
Yeah.
don't need everything to be a home run. So, and we did that, Corey. We began our business and not knowing anything about real estate, we had no niche. We had niched down to acquiring and turning into rentals. If a person called us with land, for example, to sell, if they called us with a trailer, we ran down every lead before we had niched down to where we are today, which is that's where the success is niching down. So, but we had to make a lot of mistakes, and we did. But without each mistake, we're not here right now. And I firmly believe everything that has ever happened had to have happened for you and I to be here right now. If one thing was different, that changes everything. I believe in the butterfly effect. I really, really do.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be here. Every loss I had it made me sit in this chair right now. We're talking about financial freedom. So we're okay right now. That loss did okay.
I love that. I want to ask you this question, and I feel like I know what you're going to say. Would you go back and erase some of those losses?
I would not, Corey. Um, for example, so each time we've lost, I've taken that loss, do like a little case study of what happened. Where did I fail in that situation? And then I went back to my contracts and say, okay, this is where that shortcoming was. And I've added to our SOPs, I've added to our policies and like, everything. So, but had I not had that mistake, that issue up front, it was going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Every lesson you have to learn, you're going to learn it at some point. So you can learn it the hard way, you can learn it up front, or you can hire or talk to, someone that's in that realm already and pick their brain. But the hard lessons are going to be learned either directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just part of it.
100% agree, man. Like we often talk about experience isn't the greatest teacher, but evaluated experience is. And I love what you said. Like you hit that thing, but then you looked at it, right? Like I think so many times people mess up with they go to the I'll hurt my feelings, or you get into your feelings of stuff and not really look at, man, if I did some tweaks here, that sets us up for success going
Yes.
forward. And so, man, that's awesome.
You have to realize too that every problem you have, that's not the last time you're going to have that problem. So if you do nothing to remedy it, it's going to happen in 5 months from now, and that is everything. So each time you have a problem, again, not to sound cliche, but it is a chance to learn and grow. It's a chance to refine your SOPs, because if you do nothing with that problem, I promise you it will resurface again. It isn't going to disappear forever.
Yeah.
So
Tack.
attack, deal with, and going about your day after you deal with it.
Hey guys, I hope you are enjoying this episode of the Cory Lee Show. Y'all, I am on a mission to build leaders and to transform culture. So if you're looking for a speaker who speaks directly to the heart, a mentor to come alongside you and your team, or if you're in a position where you're looking for a personal coach who embraces where you are and also believes in who you could become, then I would be honored to walk this path with you. Simply reach out to me on my email at Cory@CoryLeeLeadership.com. Look, let's make your vision a reality. Contact me, and together we'll navigate the path from aspiration to achievement. Your transformation, it starts now.
Absolutely. That's how I approach our business. Absolutely.
I love it, man, and I totally agree. So you mentioned possibly selling your business. What's next for Adam Johnson? What's after that?
Well, my wife and I, our big thing is traveling. We like to travel. We've been to Africa a few times and South America a few times, Europe a little bit. But our thing is when we travel, we always come back with a different perspective. Meeting different cultures and seeing how they deal with life. We all have the same problems. It's just how we deal with it.
Yeah.
It's interesting because in the Maasai tribe in Tanzania, Africa, in the middle of nowhere, they have the same problems we have, the same situation, the same concerns, eating, security, clean water. They have the same concerns, way different perspective, but I love seeing those, having those conversations and interactions with those people. So when we sell the business, I'm deleting every phone number attached to the business, every email attached to the business. We are gone, unreachable for a little while, Cory. Like
Uh,
no one can call me for a few weeks at least.
I like where would you love to go to?
Um, we have so much more South America to travel everywhere, Corey. I don't have one answer. We're going to Kobe, Japan, so we can get Kobe steak right there from Japan. We just have so much to go see. We have so much of the world to go see.
Yeah. You said something earlier, and I really would like to go back to. You talk about American culture and how we like to hang on. We're so attached to money, but you're talking about Europeans, like they'll go for 6 weeks and now we'll figure it out. Like, how do we get over that? Like, what's up? Like,
Well, how do we get over that? It's in our DNA as Americans. We've seen it generation after generation after generation. You got to realize that, our great grandparents were part of World War II culture.
yeah.
So holding on to every penny was given to our parents, and our grandparents. So you have that kind of trickle down of worst case scenario. So that's something in our culture that just has to, I guess, kind of work itself out. But for me, it comes with awareness. The majority of my mindset and the way I view things now come from books, and not because of me having that man as a strong leader example growing up, but from the books I've read and kind of give me different perspective. Um, who's the author of the 4 Hour Work Week? What's his name? I know you've heard that.
That guy. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I've read.
yes,
Yeah,
we both know who we're talking
yeah.
about. That book kind of, so we had started the business already. We weren't out of the military yet when I read that book, and that kind of gave me a different perspective of you don't have to be rich to live a comfortable life. You need systems in place to give you your time back. And if I can pay someone $19 an hour to do this task that doesn't make me have to be there, that's how we can kind of change our look in the way we look at money. Time is a big part of the issue I see with our culture. We don't see money and time. For example, I'll give you an example. If I make $5 an hour and I want to buy shoes that cost $100, that's 20 hours of my life that I have to give for those shoes. We don't think of it like that. On
Mm,
top of that, if I pay taxes, that's about 23 hours of my life if I to get those shoes. We don't think about purchases in relation to amount of time it takes to acquire that purchase. I do. I think about that. That's a concern of mine. So I don't blow money on BS. You know, money has a purpose. Each dollar has a purpose. So um, that's one way. That's one way that we can free ourselves up is not spending money on BS and looking and purposely putting money towards experiences. Again,
mm.
you don't have to leave the country to experience something. You can go to a different state across, you can travel with the children to a different state, a historical site. You can create memories without leaving the country. And that's for me, that's what it's about. We don't buy gifts. My wife and I, we do not buy gifts. We do experiences.
Yeah.
I
I
bought her
love,
one ring. I bought her one ring our whole marriage, and we travel every year, a few times a year, and she's happy with that. We don't do jewelry and stuff. We create experiences.
I love that, man. I'm right there with you. All in on the experiences. You mentioned the 4 hour work week. I remember the first time I read that, I was so ingrained in the other mindset that it offended my mind. It offended me. It really did. And it took me a little bit before I saw, okay, I see what this guy's talking about. There is definitely freedom in that, but it offended my mind. Honestly, it did.
It was the opposite of how you've been raised, probably what, for 30, 35 years at that point?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
know
was
who's not doing the 4 hour work week? Baldwin, Mississippi. That's not part of our culture.
yeah.
We'll do the 48-hour work week. We'll
Make
do
it,
that.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's just not part of our culture, how we're brought up.
I want to speak on one thing that you mentioned too about you not blowing your money on the BS. I was talking to man, this a couple weeks ago. I was talking to some bankers, and I was just like, "Hey, man, what are you seeing, kind of in the in the economics?" And he said something really interesting to me. He had just left from another banking convention where there's all these heads of banks and all that. He said, "Well, we're seeing consumer spending still skyrocket, but the consumer debt is skyrocketing, and so they're maxing out all their credit cards, and now they're coming to banks for loans." And I'm just thinking, it's like, man, at what point? I don't know what it's like in Tennessee, but here in Mississippi, man, there are storage units all over the place. Like storage unit, storage unit, storage unit. We own some storage units, but I just think about it. Just think about it for a minute, right? Like we've got so much stuff that we've got to rent out a storage unit to hold all of our stuff. And so, anyway, I just thought that was powerful that you said that. Yeah, being targeted with your money. Yeah.
Absolutely. The amount of stuff we have that I live in a neighborhood, every house has garages, and the majority of the houses, the cars park outside the garage because the garage is full of so much stuff. And these houses are two-story houses. How do we have so much crap,
Yeah.
junk stuff that we look at every 7 years? Um, yeah, a story for a different day. But yes, it's amazing how much stuff we have. And again, when I've been to tribes who everything they own fit in about a 4 by 6 little area.
Wow.
They sleep with their cattle, but yet we have storage facilities.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a different world. We live in the same world, but so different, so different. And that's what that traveling perspective kind of it changes the way you look at stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I'm with you there. I would love to hear maybe because you've been able to travel, you've kind of seen different cultures, and not only, I mean, you've been traveling the world for a while with your military, and then
Yeah.
now with your wife, just from flexibility there. Man, what are you kind of seeing more in our American culture? Like, what do you see going on? I just love to hear your perspective of what you see in American culture right now.
So, um, it's funny that you say that. I'm not gonna just dump on American culture. I'm not gonna go full-fledged dump on American culture. What I no, and of course I'm 40 as well, so I have different eyes than I had when I was 20. Um, what we realized, my very first trip to Africa, I realized how much is not important, how much crap that we put so much emphasis on in America is absolutely not important. Where we were in Africa, not one kid had a phone, and they were smiling, happy, helping us, talking to us. They had learned our language, very outgoing children, very within the now, helping mom and dad, you know, sow the seeds, pick the this and that, knew everything about what was happening in their area, just more aware and more alert. And the exact opposite of that coin is you go to Walmart and you have a 4 or 5 year old sitting in the buggy, holding the phone right here, not aware of anything, not watching mom interact with other adults, not watching mom look at prices and compare, learn a little math that way, not watching mom talk to the cashier, the little back and forth of just how we adults talk to each other. That is being lost.
Mm,
So the technology, and I'm not the first person to say this, the technology in America, it's very, very helpful, but at the same time, very, very costly to our culture moving forward. It's taken the interpersonal out. You
yeah.
know, we've had people apply for our properties. These are 21, 23, 27-year-old people. They can't talk on the phone. They'd rather text. But to have that live interaction, that live Q&A, it's anxiety. It's I don't know what you know. It's a problem. It is a
Mm.
problem. So that's what we see a lot. That's my 2 cents about what we see. and what I appreciate about other cultures versus what I would like to see change or be at least be more considerate of in our American culture.
Yeah, I like that. I think me and you both we lean much more towards the positive end, and I can definitely see more of the. I like to look for the positive. You love to motivate and inspire, so kind of the opposite end of that question there. Um, I, what are you most excited about right now? Like that could be a personal question, but it also can be like, what are you most excited about going on in your world right now?
So in my personal world, I've been doing mobility and yoga for the last 2 years, and I had no idea how damaged my body was after middle school, high school sports, military, beating, yourself up and this and that. So I'm very personally excited about my body healing. And
Mm.
I you said you feel like you're 21. I feel like I'm 21. My body, my joints, my everything moves like it's supposed to now, or at least getting better. But as far as the outside world, I just Cory, I hate to sound cliche again. I like to just be positive. If I can, I'm doing my little cold plunges in the morning. If I can inspire somebody to try something different, that's great. If someone sees a little YouTube video of exercise they wouldn't have known to try and it may have helped their shoulder pain, that's great. I just want to be a positive influence, and that's it. Whether it's small, micro, macro, however I can do that. I believe in the butterfly effect, and if I help one person, they may help somebody, and so on and so forth forever.
Yeah, man, I love that. Totally, I'm right there with you, and I see your stuff. It is inspiring and motivating. And you talking about the butterfly effect. I was talking to our kids about that. The legit butterfly effect. And I was like, "No, butterfly can't cause that." I was like, "You what? Go look it up, right?" And so, anyway,
Yes,
it's good stuff.
yes. It's an interesting concept, and I believe in it.
It is. I'm with you, man. I do have one other question for you. I told you this is a question I really wanted to ask you, and so I'd seen some of your posts on social media, and I really do. I love how you're encouraging and motivating, um, and so I am pretty rooted and grounded in my faith in Christianity. Most of the people that probably listen in on this podcast, not everybody, but a lot of them are, and there's a lot of other faiths out there as well, and I would love to hear your perspective on from what you've seen in culture, what you see going on in the world right now. What is the best advice? Well, first, before you answer that, I would love for you to tell your relationship with faith because I think that'll speak into your answer. Your
Okay.
relationship with faith, and then what is your advice to Christians in this generation there? I would just love, and I told about y'all, I told Adam before we got on here, unfiltered AJ. You don't have to filter anything. You be you, man. You be you.
All right. So, give me the first part again.
Yeah.
Okay, my
So
my
your
relationship.
relationship with faith. Yeah.
So, I did grow up Southern Baptist Christian in Mississippi. And I was very Christian or more Christian faith up until about 3 or 4 years ago. Due to my personal experiences, I've been around the world. I've met so many different people of faith, different cultures, different lifestyles, different happenings, different questions that I have. I personally have stepped back from religion as a practicing faith. I just kind of have my own positive outlook about life. I don't follow anything per se, any kind of doctrine. If anything, I do enjoy Stoic philosophy, which is not a religion, it's kind of a way to interpret the outside world that's coming that we're going to deal with on a daily basis. So I am not religious. I am philosophical in a Stoic manner. Marcus Aurelius is one of my favorite humans of all time. And I would love, any questions you have, I'm all for that kind of stuff. But as far as so I am not a practicing of any religion at the moment. I am more of a philosophical and positive. If I can help you, and on top of that, I fighting for the military. I fought for the freedom of religion. I can appreciate and respect everyone's religion. I think if nothing else, religion gives us a moral compass in most cases and a blueprint to help kind of steer ourselves, give us a left and right limit or an example of this situation happening before. So I support that. It's just not for me and a following in that manner. As far as any religion, as far as anybody, when I was going to church, one of the things that I noticed, and this ranges from being 11 years old to 31 years old, and I've seen kind of similar happenings, which was a lot of the congregation, they would talk more about, praying for, asking God, asking God. But what I noticed in my own world, I can pray and pray and pray, but if I don't do anything, if I don't have the action behind those words, I was nothing was going to happen. So my wife would say, she's Christian as well. She would say that she would just ask God to honor her actions. Like she was trying to better herself. She was trying to, right some wrongs, make some improvements. And when she would pray, she would just simply pray, God, I just ask you to honor my efforts. And I respect that and love that. I feel that no matter what your religion is, praying and manifesting only works with the action behind it. And I've yet to see people that sit in their mother's basement praying for $1 million and that work itself out. Effort. Effort is the bottom line.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Man, and I appreciate that. I really do. And and I'm right there with you with the, it's one thing just to sit around and talk about it, but man, you got to be about it, right? And I think, um, I mean that's I see it as well, and I truly appreciate your transparency with that, and I truly appreciate your journey as well, and what you share right there too. I think that's you got to put some faith to it, right? I mean, when you think about faith, even outside of religion, faith is an action word. It is a verb. Like I got the book Think and Grow Rich over there. They've got a whole chapter on faith. Faith is an action piece to it there. And so, I believe 100% in Jesus, but there's also that action component that goes with it. Faith is a verb. And so, man, that's good stuff. Good stuff, AJ.
Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing that I have a lot of faith in, Cory. I have faith in my effort. I'm going to go out there and try. I have 100% faith in my effort to go out there and do my damn best.
Yeah.
And I preach that. I believe in that. I believe in that.
That's good stuff, man. Well, Adam, man, you have added a ton of value to me, and I know a ton of value to the listeners. And now, again, we're going to put in your YouTube channel below. And I also know from the past you were helping people with real estate, and you had some courses and content on some of that. Man, if somebody just wanted to reach out to you and connect with you, like what is the best way for them to connect with you?
Yep. So for individuals that are interested in on day one level real estate investing, I have a YouTube channel called REI Simplified with a D. That stands for Real Estate Investing Simplified. REI Simplified. I give my course on how we acquired over 50 properties using the subject to method, and I provide a course on how to acquire, set up, and run Airbnbs. We've had up to 23 short-term rentals that we owned and operated at one time. We've had over 4,000 reservations. So we give all that time, effort, knowledge, mistakes, and everything to our viewers on YouTube for 100% free. So anyone looking to get started in real estate, REI Simplified. I have another YouTube channel called Military to Millionaire Mindset. And that's philosophy, that's positivity, that's exercise, that's me helping people kind of start their fitness journey. If they have nowhere to go, they don't know where to begin. I want to help people start on day one, get back into taking their life back, to get back to healthy, get back to eating right, because I firmly believe for you to be the best you, you have to be healthy. And for everyone that relies on you to get the best you, you have to be healthy. I feel that the people who are out of shape, that are not taking care of themselves, but I need that person, I'm not getting the best version of that person. So I feel it's only right and it's my responsibility to be the best me for everyone that relies on me.
Man, yeah, I love that. Love that. I was thinking about health, and I think health is the ability to do the things that you desire to do without having health as a reason not to do it. Right? Like you will go outside and play with your kids. Like I'm healthy enough to be able to do that. And yeah, yeah, good stuff, Adam. Man, you added a ton of value. Do you have a podcast?
No, no podcast. I do
Uh,
YouTube and I do YouTube. That's
Okay,
it.
all right. Hey, that's all good. But I figured your content, man, is good enough. Good, you could impact some folks there. So, Man, appreciate your time, dude. And I truly do. I'm not just saying it because you're on the podcast. I have a ton of respect for you and just cheering you on and what you're doing from Mississippi, right? From Mississippi. But guys, reach out to Adam if there's any way he can serve you. Feel free to connect with him. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with the latest episodes of the Cory Lee Show. I hope you guys have a great day and God bless.
3, 2, 1. Okay.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope I have added value to you. And if you have found value in this episode, let me know. Drop a comment and make sure you share with a friend or family member. See you next episode.